How's it going, everybody? My name is Salty and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over the top 5 assault rifles here in Black Ops Cold War. Now, before we get started, if you guys are new to the channel, I'm going to need you guys to make sure you hit the subscribe button for me. We are now on the road to 20,000 subscribers, and you're not going to want to miss any of my daily Call of Duty videos. Next, make sure to also smash the like button. It's the easiest and most effective way to support the channel. Let's jump right into it. Now, starting at number 5, we have the XM4, an all-reliable type weapon. It was never overpowered by any means, but it was also very good at close, medium, and long range, depending on the class setups that you built out for it. For me, this is going to be a great aggressive and medium range type class setup. In my previous top 5 video, at number 5, I had the FFAR, but there was a new addition to the game that ended up taking the spot of that FFAR 83. So let's jump into the class setup here for this XM4, starting with the Microflex LED. This is my preferred optic choice. You can really throw on whatever you're comfortable with here. For the muzzle, you're going to need this infantry compensator. This gives you 15% vertical recoil control, and this is your primary source of vertical recoil control as a whole for the weapon. Without it, it does like to kick up quite a bit. Down to the barrel, the 13.7-inch Ranger. This thing makes the gun absolutely ridiculous, and one of the reasons that they had to GA this out of competitive play was this Ranger barrel. So this brings our bullet velocity up to 1,114 meters per second with a very, very respectable 45.72 meter effective damage range. Like I said, this is a build best meant for close and medium range. Therefore, we don't really need to add anything to that effective damage range with it already at 45, but we also get that hit scan like bullet velocity, meaning our bullets connect almost immediately. Down to the body, the SOF target designator. This can be swapped out for the steady aim laser as well, if you so please, but I like the target designator because it makes it easier to see those targets while aiming down the sights. For the underbarrel, we have the field agent grip. This is going to be to eliminate all of the horizontal recoil control that is also there with the XM4. If you find yourself controlling the recoil just fine, you can use something like the speed grip or the normal foregrip there, but I personally prefer this field agent grip. Down to the magazine, I have the 50-round mag. We are not sacrificing too much aim down sight speed, only 15% there, but at the same time, we're completely filling up our magazine in the process. Down to the handle, I have the airborne elastic wrap for the most amount of aim down sight speed, flinch resistance, and ability to drop shot. That's a pretty common theme for these weapons. You want the most amount of aim down sight speed. And then finishing it off with the Raider pad, you're going to see this attachment a lot as well. This is going to be for the most amount of sprint to fire speed, and 40% also added to our aim walking movement speed. A very good weapon, a very fun weapon to use, overall very balanced, but we're going to slide over to number 4. Many of you probably won't be surprised what's here. All right, so at number 4, we have the Krig 6, and this falls in the top 5 simply because of its ease of use. It is one of the easiest weapons to use in the game. It's virtually a laser beam, probably the best weapon for medium and long range gunfights as far as control of recoil, movement, just overall this thing's an absolute tank. It's not the damage, it's not really anything, it doesn't have a super high TTK is what I mean by that. It's just the ease of use, like I said. This thing is an absolute beast. Reminds me of the ICR, the ACR. You guys know those weapons in COD history. Virtually no recoil at all, and just a very easy weapon to use, kind of like the Kilo as well from Modern Warfare. But let's jump into it here. It's virtually the same class setup as the XM4, Microflex LED for the optic. You guys can use, again, whatever you're comfortable with. Down to the muzzle, the infantry compensator. Again, this is the primary source of vertical recoil control. It gives us 12% there, and honestly, this can be thrown on for just about anything here, honestly. The recoil on the Krig is almost non-existent, especially with the compensator here. But if you want, you can go with the muzzle brake, you can go with the agency suppressor. This can definitely be swapped out there. For the barrel, we have the 19.7-inch Ranger, 126% bullet velocity. This is ridiculous. We have a 1,553.1 meter effective damage, or I'm sorry, bullet velocity with a 50.8 meter effective damage range. Absolutely insane there. This is just like the XM4. Like I said, this one's going to be easier because of that recoil altogether, but it's an absolutely insane weapon after everything is said and done. Again, just like the XM4, you guys can use the steady aim laser or the SOF target designator here. They have 0 cons to running them, but I like the SOF target designator just like I stated in the XM4. Down to the underbarrel, the field agent grip. I highly recommend you run this one for the 20% horizontal recoil control. You're also getting the 5% vertical, but that horizontal is the big one. This attachment is what basically gives it that no recoil pattern whatsoever, and you can hit some ridiculous shots at ridiculous ranges. Down to the magazine, 50-round mag. I'm going to be honest, this is a preference basically for any of these on the list. Swap it out for whatever you want. If you're playing a smaller map and you want to run the 40 round speed mag, feel free to do so. If you're playing a smaller map or a bigger map and you're playing pretty slow, 40 round mag will also suffice. Choose whatever it is you're comfortable with. Down to the handle, the airborne elastic wrap for the most amount of aim down, sight speed, flinch resistance, and then of course ability to drop shot. And then finishing it off with the Raider stock. Like I said, this build is virtually the same as the XM4. 30% sprint to fire speed here, along with 40% also added to the aim walking movement speed. In my opinion, this weapon is a little better than the XM4. The XM4 definitely beats it at those closer ranges, but this thing is an absolute beast on the map. If you're posted up playing at a slower pace, this thing will absolutely laser people across the map. But let's jump over to number 3. Now at number 3, I have the FFAR. This thing has a ridiculous time to kill. It's somewhat like an SMG kind of assault rifle build. And to be honest, this thing is ridiculous at close range and ridiculous at medium range also, but there's one big attachment that you need to be running. So it's a 5 attachment build, but let's start here. We have the infantry compensator. You're going to need this. The FFAR has some pretty ridiculous recoil without the correct attachments. This gives us 12% vertical recoil control. Down to the barrel, this is the big attachment you need. You need a 20.3 inch takedown. This gives us 80% effective damage range. As you guys can see, it brings it up to 22.86 meters. Now that fire rate is basically what makes this weapon absolutely insane. 909 rounds per minute. We have a pretty decent bullet velocity there at 629 meters per second. You're not really going to need any higher bullet velocity in my opinion here, strictly because you're sticking to basically 20 meters. That's where this thing is most effective. As you can see, 22.86. So you don't really need that high of a bullet velocity. Without it, you guys can see it's at a quite abysmal 12.7 meters. That's basically SMG type range on the weapon. But it's an assault rifle. It has the movement of an assault rifle, so you need it to have a little bit of distance to it. But it definitely competes against SMGs. So down to the underbarrel, the second attachment you're going to need for recoil, the field agent grip. We get 6% vertical and 16% horizontal recoil control. Down to the magazine, there's only 2 options I would highly recommend, or 3 options I would recommend here. You can go with the 38 round mag, jungle style mag, or 44. I like the 44. I don't think the aim down sight speed is all that slow. But because we're not going with a handle, I would not recommend going with a fast mag there of a higher swords like the 38 round speed mag or 44 round fast mag. Finishing off the build, you're going to want this sprint to fire speed because of the aggressiveness of the weapon. 30% sprint to fire speed, 40% also added to our aim walking movement speed. I wasn't a huge fan of the FFAR. I'm going to be honest, when they nerfed it back in like season 1. But after basically a subscriber told me about the takedown barrel, one of my most used weapons. It's absolutely insane. Definitely give this one a go, but let's slide over to number 2. Now at number 2, we have the AK-47, and this is a class setup that has been on the channel quite a bit. One of my favorites because it's like an SMG. It's like an AK-74U that hits a little bit harder at some range. So let's get going here. As you guys can see, we got perk greed because it's a 5 attachment class setup. So we got the Grue suppressor here. We don't really need the ridiculous effective damage range, but we're getting some vertical recoil control here and the ability to stay off the map. Like I said, it's a great close range weapon, close and medium range, I should say. So we are sacrificing some effective damage range and bullet velocity, but we're still at a great 27.93 meters for that effective damage range. Our bullet velocity sits at 596.7 meters per second. So at the end of the day, that's great statistics for a close to medium range weapon. The barrel you're going to need is the 15.5 inch ultralight. This is going to help with all sorts of movement speeds here. This is mainly what makes it that SMG type build. Like I said, it's like an AK-74U that can take some longer range engagements. Down to the magazine, we're skipping right over that body and underbarrel. We have the 50 round mag. You guys can swap this out for basically whatever you want. Whatever your preference is, feel free to use that. Down to the handle, the Grue elastic wrap. It's an SMG type build, so you need that snappy aim. We get 30% aim down sight speed, 90% flinch resistance, and then the ability to drop shot. And then finishing it off, pretty common theme here, the KGB skeletal stock or the Raider stock, whatever you want to call it. This is for the most amount of sprint to fire speed and 40% also added to the aim walking movement speed. I'm telling you, this class setup, I've said it, it's been in number 1 on my list prior to the weapon you're about to see next for a couple of my top 5s here. I absolutely love and adore this weapon. So if you still have yet to give it a try, definitely do so. I promise you're going to have nothing but an absolute blast with it. Let's slide into number 1. So I'm sure with no surprise, you guys see we have the Vargo 52 here. And in my opinion, the most dominant weapon in the game, especially in the assault rifle category, and I feel like there is basically no comparison whatsoever. This thing is an absolute beast. So let's get going here. Starting the Grue suppressor. I did end up changing my class setup from my previous top 5 video, where top 5 weapons in Cold War. This class setup is a smidge different. I got some recommendations here from the subscribers on the channel. So we get the Grue suppressor. Because of how aggressive the assault rifle is built out, it's kind of like a better FFAR. You get 10% vertical recoil control, then the ability to stay off the map, but this is going to be because of the aggressiveness of the build. You are getting that recoil control, which is necessary. It gives it a no recoil type vibe, and the ability to stay off the map makes it much easier to get red dot, or less, I'm sorry, much easier to get around the map and streak up. You get red dot chased much less. Okay, so sliding down to the barrel, this is another attachment that I was told to swap out. We have the reinforced heavy. I'm going to be honest, I didn't notice that the reinforced heavy in Task Force, normally the Task Force is kind of the best barrel to be going with as far as like fast killing and whatnot goes, but you get 100% effective damage range and 40% bullet velocity. That you get less here, which is kind of weird with the Task Force. Yeah, you're gaining quite significant damage at 9%, but it's only 20% effective damage range and 66% bullet velocity. So we get to keep all of our recoil control, whereas the Task Force, you can see one of the negatives is recoil control, but we're gaining more effective damage range, maybe not more bullet velocity, but that 100% effective damage range is absolutely insane. It brings it up to 66 meters, and now our bullet velocity is 875 meters per second. Definitely the best barrel now. After using it, I can confirm this is the best barrel. Down to the underbarrel, the Spetsnaz grip. This is going to be for 5% vertical and 15% horizontal recoil control. Between this and the muzzle, it has virtually no recoil whatsoever. Down to the magazine, the 40-round mag. I'm going to be honest, I would stick to this 40-round, the tape mags, or the Grue mab clamp, because we're not running a handle. You don't want to sacrifice any aim down sight speed here. Otherwise, you're going to be aiming down the sights like a snail. Finishing off the build with the KGB skeletal stock. Again, for the sprint fire speed and aim walking movement speed. I feel like a broken record with that one, but I'm telling you, this is without a doubt the best weapon in the game. So I would be very curious to hear your guys' top 5 weapons or assault rifles here in Black Ops Cold War. Give me whatever you want. Give me your top 5 weapons, top 5 assault rifles, top 5 SMGs. Give me all of them. I would love to see your lists down in the comments section. If you guys would like to see other top 5 lists like this, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for me. That's basically the easiest way for me to know that you like this kind of content. I'm going to be honest. So without further ado, I got a gameplay for you guys with this best Vargo 52 class over on some Nuketown. So we're going to slide into that now. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so I'm kind of in a rush, I'm going to be honest. I went to record this video this morning, and let's just say,
hard point.
I had some significant issues in my new computer. There were some settings that were set up wrong, more or less. Keep it on the simple.
Hard point locked down. We've moved ahead.
Okay, I don't know what these guys are doing. They're literally not trying to move. They're like just sitting in the house. Like I said, I'm in an absolute rush now because it's literally 7 o'clock. If I had to guess, they're gonna flip.
Hardpoint located. Hostiles have the hard
I've already
point.
been recording since 4 o'clock. Oh my god.
Contesting hardpoint.
Straight run awaiting your orders.
We're in the lead.
Commence overview.
Contesting hardpoint.
He got him? Hope he got him. Okay. I'm feeling good right now. They're playing very passive, and I don't like it.
Hardpoint is secure. Contesting hardpoint. We've lost the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down.
I can get this here. Alrighty, we got it. One less thing off my chest. You got. I don't really need to explain much. You guys can see how good this weapon is. Like, let's be honest. Oh, where did he come from? Where did he come from? Oh my god. I don't care. Assassinations are stupid. Assassinations are a waste of time, if you ask me. They take way too much time. If my team... He's just assassinating everybody. For no reason. I don't really know him. I don't really know the point of him going around assassinating, but the more to him. I have a teammate going off. Feeling great, dude. Oh my god, this weapon's absolutely insane. Where are they?
Weapons hot, refiring.
Upstairs. Let's give him the schmeat.
Contesting hardpoint. Commencing final attack.
Copy that, Night 3-6.
What's going on back here? They're still spawning back there. Hold on.
Hardpoint lost.
I died. Oh, I hate. Well, I mean, what can I say? I got the nuke. I just couldn't. You can't compete with an LC-10 at close range like that. Yeah, my teammate's going off as well. Matt.
We've lost the hard point. Enemy care package above.
79. This game was going by really quick, but not so much anymore. Like we were at. Oh yeah, it's gonna end. 100%.
We've lost the hard point. We've lost the hard point. Enemy napalm strike incoming. Hard point secure.
I thought that was a guy. Well, 97 didn't end up getting 100, but that is the nuke, so GG's. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you could make sure you hit that like button for me, that'd be absolutely awesome. If you're new to the channel, make sure you also smash that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Winner!